Hey, I'm Brandon Strock, founder of the Walk Away campaign. For those of you videoing, is it okay if I just walk around? Is that a problem? All right, you guys are sick of just staring over here, right? All right, let's move around. Okay, so I guess probably the number one question a lot of people have is, why did I walk away? There was a gentleman here tonight who asked me that very question. And basically, as was said earlier tonight, I grew up in rural Nebraska, and I was one of those people who knew from a really early age that I was a gay, well, I wasn't a man, I was a gay kid. And so I sort of fell into a very liberal camp early on in life because I bought into the very slick messaging of the liberal media, the Democrat Party, and I think the entertainment industry. When we watch television, when you watch MTV, when you watch movies, the liberal ideology is sort of omnipresent, and it's there, I think, indoctrinating young minds when we're not even aware that it's happening. And so by the time that I grew up, or by the time I got to be a teenager, I already considered myself a liberal. And then when I graduated from high school, is there a weird echo, or is it just me? Was it not there before? No. Okay, that's okay, maybe I'll sing. Maybe I'll just sing my speech tonight. So I graduated from high school and I moved to New York City. And when I moved to New York City, then I fell in with an even more liberal camp in New York City. And sort of without question went along with this sort of liberal ideology. And I always voted Democrat my entire adult life. And around 2015, when Donald Trump took that now very famous ride down the escalator, I thought, like most people, when Donald Trump announced that he was running for president, that it was a joke. I thought he was kidding. And, everybody at that time thought it was kind of funny. The late night talk show hosts thought it was funny. The liberal media thought that it was very funny. And it really wasn't until we got to about around the time of the Republican primary and it became clear that he was going to become the candidate that suddenly it wasn't so funny anymore. And suddenly there was sort of this fear that maybe Hillary Clinton, who of course deserved to be the first woman president, maybe didn't necessarily have this all sewn up after all. And I think this is exactly the point where the powers that be in the Democrat Party machine, which is to say the liberal media, which is just simply a propaganda arm for the Democrat Party, and the Democrat Party themselves, and the entertainment industry and the whole cabal, sort of put their heads together and thought to themselves, well, how are we going to take this guy out? How do we get rid of this now threat to Hillary Clinton, who deserves the office of president? And so I think that they asked themselves, well, what triggers liberals more than anything? Social injustice. We have to make this guy the most racist, the most bigoted, the most homophobic, the biggest second coming of Hitler that the world has ever seen. And that is precisely what they did. They started going to his rallies, extracting little sound bites and little moments and spinning them out of context, saying Donald Trump called all Mexicans rapists. Donald Trump advocates for the sexual assault of all women. Donald Trump mocked a disabled person. And I bought into all of it. I believed every single word that they said because I had always trusted the media that gave the news to my camp, the liberal camp, because they always claimed that they were the ones looking out for marginalized classes of people. They were the ones looking out for oppressed minority groups, black people, brown people, LGBT people. Never occurred to me for a moment that the media that I trusted was capable of engaging in lies, deception, manipulation, and the works. So it worked very effectively. I was very, very scared. But the same media that kept telling me that Donald Trump was the second coming of Hitler also said, well, he only has about a 3% chance of winning. So don't really worry about it. It's not, he's a horrible human being, yes, but this MAGA movement is not a real thing. He pays people to go to his rallies. He doesn't really have that big of a following. She's gonna win this in a landslide. And then we got to, the day before Election Day, and they were putting out headlines saying that Hillary Clinton had a 98, 99% chance of winning, that there's absolutely no chance that Donald Trump could win. So imagine my surprise on Election Day, when I'm having my, first woman president party in my apartment in New York City, very, very excited. Oh boy, we had snacks. We were rip-roaring ready to go. And So sitting there with my friends at the election night party at my apartment on the Lower East Side of New York City, and everyone's so excited, we're rearing to go, and then the day starts to progress, and it goes into evening, and suddenly the oxygen is just being sucked out of the room in my little party. And we're starting to get the cold sweats a little bit, and everybody's starting to go, what the hell is going on? Like, what is happening? What? And finally, I'd say somewhere around like 10 or 11 p.m., we were all just completely in a state of shock. So all of my friends, the party just died. Everyone was like, I gotta go. But they hadn't called the election yet. In fact, it was somewhere around midnight that I went to bed on election night because I couldn't take it anymore. I was freaking out. My party was, in shambles anyway. I went to bed, but I couldn't sleep. And so about every 15 minutes or so, or not even 5, every 5 minutes or so, I would roll over and refresh the world's most reliable source, the Huffington Post. and then somewhere around 2:15 in the morning or so, there it was, his picture, with a giant red banner above his head that said, "Nightmare, President Trump." And underneath it, it said, "Millions to lose their health insurance, civil rights to be rolled back, ... and other possible headlines from a Trump presidency. They began literally predicting the future of what headlines would be under a Trump presidency. They wasted no time whatsoever with the fear-mongering and the scare tactics, making us feel like we were in mortal danger because Donald Trump was elected. And once again, I bought into it completely. I was working as a freelance hairstylist at that time in New York City, and it was very dramatic. I had to cancel my day the next day. I called into my agency and I said, cancel all my appointments. I can't be anywhere near scissors today. Or bleach. And so I did what any level-headed, rational, clear-thinking person would do. I got on Facebook and I started crying. And I made a live video.